This is Carl Munson of Expats Portugal, and this is number 2 of 1,000 things to enjoy in Portugal. It's thought that over a third of Portugal is forested, and with over 300 trees per person of its just over 10 million population, this is clearly a very green country. Of its many trees, 23% are cork oaks, Portugal's national tree. The greatest among them is over 16 metres high and over 4 metres round, the Sobreiro monumental, also known as the Whistler tree, due to its remarkable resident birdsong. This literally mighty oak is 236 years old and can be found in Águas da Moura, Palmela in the Alentejo region. It was 2018's European Tree of the Year, and some say this one tree will produce over 1 million corks in its lifetime. Now there's a reason to celebrate, perhaps with a bottle of Portuguese espumante. Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here, and good morning, Major. How are you this morning? Good morning, Portugal. A show, of course, from Expats Portugal. And we are now into Tuesday, aren't we? Terça-feira, and quite a nice selection of things for your listening and viewing pleasure this morning. We do have a weather warning today from IPMA, cold weather warning extended throughout mainland Portugal, and I will give you further details of that. We're also paying a little bit of a tribute to Carlos Do Carmo, the Sinatra, Portugal's Sinatra of Fado, whose funeral was yesterday here in Portugal. Much loved Fado artist, and we will tell you more about him in case you didn't know about him, if you're not up to speed on the Fado scene yet. But a legend was lost in the shape of Carlos do Carmo, so we'll have a look at his legacy and find out more about him. And of course, on Tuesdays now, here on the Good Morning Portugal show, the focus is on property, money and business, those sorts of lifestyle issues. So we'll be looking at a beautiful property. Remember, we were talking to Valerie of Spencer Becks over there and her fabulous new office in San Martinho de Porto. She has sent me the details of a lovely property that we'll take a look at, which is the sort of thing we may well do on a regular basis on Tuesdays. And as well as looking at new businesses that you're thinking of starting. I mean, you can do a pitch for your new business because I think communities like this need to look after each other. So if you are running a business, feel free to promote it here. And also those consumer issues as well. Do you remember a few months back, we started a kind of poll, didn't we, of what was the best bank, best mobile phone system, you know, all of that sort of thing. So we will be talking about that on Tuesdays, the consumer sort of stuff, but homes and properties as well, starting a business, running a business, promoting businesses, and money matters as well. Okay. And yeah, there's a honey business, a lovely little Portuguese honey business that needs your help. So we will take a look into that as well. So how are you this morning? How are things where you are? It is cold. Let's take a look at that IPMA weather warning, shall we? And see what's what there. The IPMA have extended the cold weather warnings at least until Thursday, the 7th of January. Okay, so a couple more days for the districts of Viana do Castelo, Braga, Porto, Villarreal, Bragança, Guarda, Viseu, Coimbra, Castelo Branco, Aveiro, and Porto Alegre. For Leiria, Faro, Beja, Setúbal, whichever way you pronounce it, Évora, Lisbon, and Santarém. The warning is in place until 0900 hours tomorrow morning. Okay, so a little bit of relief in those last mentioned places, but a couple more days further to the north, really, and some of the inland places that are very cold at the moment, by Portuguese standards, that is. The IPMA general forecast for today is cold weather with little cloudy or clear skies, presenting periods of very cloudy in the centre coast. I think it's a translation from IPMA, until mid-morning, and in Baixo Alentejo and Algarve until mid-afternoon. So cloudy and cold, chance of light showers on the west coast south of Cabo Cavalheiro, mid-morning, generally weak wind predominating from the northeast, fog or morning fog in some places, formation of ice or frost, especially in the interior. So if you've ever driven around Castelo Branco in the interior and it's been a gloriously hot day, and you're up in the highlands of Castelo Branco, for example, or Serra da Estrela, and you see one of those ice signs, you think, hold on a minute, How can it possibly get icy up here? It's nearly 40 degrees. This is when it happens. This time of year is when it can get icy, of course, up there in those highlands, in the Estrellas. So, yes, formation of ice or frost, especially in the interior, small drop in minimum temperature, especially in the center and Alentejo regions. Please be reminded of the cold weather precautions that are in place, which can be downloaded from Safe Communities Portugal website link below. This is where, of course, we're getting our information about the IPMA cold weather warning from Safe Communities Portugal, which you can find on Facebook or going directly to safecommunitiesportugal.com, an excellent resource for all things to do with health and safety for you here in Portugal. And they add the warning as well. Please ensure care when driving due to icy roads in some areas, and ensure that there is ventilation when using fireplaces and gas heaters, because we can forget, can't we, about these things. So make sure you're properly ventilated, won't you? And be very careful with those fires. All right. So a very good morning to you if you've just joined. If you were really early in, you'll have seen number 2 of the 1,000 things to enjoy in Portugal, which today was the Sobreiro Monumental. And I've pronounced it very badly in that little video. This is our experiment to create YouTube shorts, things under a minute, or little films under a minute that celebrate all the wonderful things to do in Portugal. Yesterday's was the Pastel de Nata. Today was a Sobreiro Monumental, the largest oak tree in the world, actually, and a great thing to see in Portugal in the Alentejo district. And I was reminded, actually, when I was finding out about where this tree was, it's in Palmela, which is a really cool place, not far south of Lisbon. But you're in the Alentejo already, just maybe half an hour out of Lisbon. You are in the Alentejo region. And I just imagine Alentejo to be much further south than Lisbon. But of course, just pretty much, I think, south of the river. Setúbal is in Alentejo, is it not? I just imagine those arid plains as you go towards Spain to be a long, long way from Lisbon, which I suppose they are. But some of Alentejo is very close to the capital. So a few comments coming in. You are wonderful. Thank you so much for your comments. Before we move on to our tribute to Carlos Do Carmo, and it's an hola bon dia, dark and dreary in North Wales this morning. So it sounds like you had a better day yesterday. This is only to be expected in North Wales there, isn't it? And the Brecon Beacons, like stunning scenery. And this is the price you pay for that moody and magnificent landscape sometimes, isn't it? Dark and dreary for you over there. Elsa, good morning to you. Good morning from Valerie, who we were speaking about earlier on. I don't know if you're here, Valerie. I'm going to have a look at that. One of those wonderful properties you sent me. Let me just give you the heads up on it now. Stay tuned for a spacious, contemporary, 3-bedroom, high-spec home with sea views in Alcobaca. Okay, so Silver Coast area. And not a lot of change from €750,000, but don't let that put you off, anybody. This is a really lovely property to take a look at and to tell your friends about. And actually, we'll play a little game where we will assess how much we think it would cost in the country of our origin, because that's not a small amount of money. But let's compare it to how much we think it might cost. Let's say if it were in Devon or Cornwall, or on the French coast or whatever. So we'll come back to that. Good morning, beautiful sunshine and blue skies here today in San Martino. However, it's a bit blooming cold. Absolutely thick ice on my car windows this morning. What's that all about? Yeah, what's going on? My neighbor, Donna Grassa, the good news is that it's the coldest, she said, that it gets currently. So the bad news is it's cold. The good news is it's about as cold as it's going to get, she says. And obviously, notwithstanding climate change and so on, and freak weather conditions, I hope she's right. Joel, we'll come back to you, Valerie. Joel is a bon dia from Joel with a very cold-looking emoticon. I love it. I do love all the emoticons that come in. Emojis, do send them in. Feel free to just let me interpret and translate your emojis and emoticons if it's too cold to even type this morning where you are. Bon dia. Bon anno novo from Ana Rita Vieira. Good morning to you, Anna. Lovely to have you here. Igualmente, prospero anno novo to you, você, to you as well. There, Elsa Riley, don't laugh, please. Elsa says a friend in Nisa sent me a pic of his frozen car windscreen this morning. That's not Nisa the supermarket, is it? That's is that a place in Portugal? I believe so. Tell us more, please, Elsa. More about Nisa, if you will. Bon dia from Londres. From Nick Steinman. Good morning to you, Nick. This morning, how are you doing? What's the temperature like? I think the weather's better in London at the moment. That's what Louise was telling us yesterday, right? It's so cold. The water tank for the house is frozen. So he can't even have a cold shower. Just turned on the shower to hear a clanking, one of that clanking sound that you only get in Hollywood, really. So the water tank in up there in Matosinhos this morning is frozen. Good heavens. Bon dia. So you could get a blowtorch on that this morning, Joel, or maybe just let nature take its course, right? Or we on it. Isn't that the old kind of Portuguese way of being a resourceful? And let's not go there. It's probably a bit inappropriate and unwise to do so. A bon dia from Will Thompson. Good morning, Will. How are you this morning? Frosty here again. Spiffing sunshine, though. Jolly good, jolly good. As you were. Carry on. Carry on, Major Thompson. Oh, yes, a bit parky around the espadrilles this morning. Thank you, Gary, and Alvagra in central Portugal. How you doing, mate? Emma said she might try to join you this morning for a listen if she can figure out. The long-awaited, much hoped for Emma. She's an amazing entertainer, along with her son, a couple of fantastic Scots who do incredible live streams, musical events, and entertainment. But a little bit of a problem on the technology when we discussed that at the end of last year. But yeah, Emma's absolutely. If you're listening, Emma, please say hi. Because it would be lovely to have you come on and spread a bit of your wonderful and unique cheer on the Good Morning Portugal show. Alain Tejo, just south of the river. There you go. Of course, I should have known that. So just south of the river, Alain Tejo from Anna there. Of course. When you think about it, I must think more. But this show wouldn't be what it is without me opening my mouth before thinking about it, often, would it? And getting myself into all sorts of trouble from time to time. Bon dia from sunny Sintra. Good morning to you, Drew. Happy New Year to you, mate. How's it going there over in your wonderful homestead? Donna Grassa, who I mentioned before. Bon dia. Con minus quarto negativos. So -4 here in the Aveiro district in our town of Anadia this morning. Unbelievable, Grassa. I mean, this isn't right. You did say this is the coldest it gets, right? That was yesterday when it was only like -1, and now it's -4. Come on, it can't get any colder than this, can it? Elsa, Nisa, Central Portugal. Brilliant. About 25 minutes drive from Constancia. Now, I must find out more about Constancia because it does come up from time to time. Doesn't it? So let's find out more about Nisa and Constancia. Maybe that'll be one of our 1,000 things to enjoy in Portugal. A list which will inevitably grow to more than 1,000. But I've only got 998 more short films to make. Check them out on our YouTube channel. Oh yeah, and while I'm talking about the YouTube channel, I discovered such a terrible mistake I made yesterday that a lot of comments go into a kind of comment quarantine to make sure they're not inappropriate, which is weird because I get loads of, no, this is not a boast, this is just what happens on social media and on YouTube. I get loads of women saying, do you want to be my boyfriend? To which, of course, I always say no. And did I hesitate a little bit too much there? And I'm thinking, okay, so all of that spammy stuff comes through. I needn't worry. The filters are good. But actually, what happened was loads of really good messages have been filtered out instead. Lots of lovely comments from the likes of you, lovely folks who tune in via YouTube. You know, that's the way it's going. More and more people are watching, I think, the Good Morning Portugal live stream via YouTube. And all your lovely comments are there. In comment lockdown, in quarantine. And I discovered, I think, hundreds of them last night that I hadn't given a little tick to let them through. So don't think me rude. I mean, yes, think me rude if you're one of those women who keeps asking me to be your boyfriend and sending suggestive profile pics. I'm not interested. But I apologize to you if you put in. I mean, a lot of guests were putting comments up about how much they enjoy being on the show. And they were locked up and not to be seen. So I've been releasing those as much as I could late last night when I discovered this gaffe of mine. So I do apologize. I haven't been rude. I've just fallen foul of the technology. I never imagined I'd be some kind of, small-time YouTuber. But that's what's happening. We're at nearly a quarter of our way to our next target of subscriptions on YouTube, which is 10,000, which is, I think, when it gets really interesting, and all of you will be famous. All of us will be famous. By the time we get to 10,000 YouTube subscriptions, we will all be legends because we'll be piped all over the world. And even in this little niche of Good Morning Portugal, I see we get listening figures that aren't far off some of the big sort of phone-in stations, some of the ones that I've stopped listening to as a New Year's resolution. But, even some of my favorite talk radio type stations, they don't get many more listeners than we do. So I thank you for your attendance here and making this niche cozy and lovely. And we're all going to be legends when we get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers, I'm sure. Cold what? I'm not that much of a masochist, says Joel. I think responding to my comment that I really stopped myself saying halfway through there. But yeah, another layer, I think. How many layers have you got on, Joel, this morning? Let's see how many. What's the record for the most layers among the listening audience this morning? Just put it in the comments if you've got 6 layers on, 7 layers. I think Joel's going to be putting a couple more on with his frozen water up there. Nisa, great cheese, says Ana Rita Vieira. Okay, so that's got to go on the list, isn't it? Nisa's cheese. Bon dia from Moscow. See, it's only -1 centigrade in Moscow, -4 here in the Aveiro district, and -1 in Moscow. This isn't right. I didn't move here, didn't sign up for this. Good morning to you, Carolyn Wieland, over there in Moscow. How exciting. Bon dia from Carpe Diem. I think a good reminder to seize the day. We've got to do that, haven't we? We're all very possibly preoccupied and fearful and concerned about what's going on in the world, but still a great reminder there in the name of Carpe Diem to seize the day and enjoy your life for all you're worth, because otherwise, what's the point of being it? And a bon dia from you, Carpe Diem. Excellent. Thank you for that. And from Geneva, good morning from Paulo Simois. Good morning to you. And Marcos Valbon. Carl, here in my city, the weather is freezing, -3 at 7:45 a.m. Remind us where you are, Marcos, please. Are you over there in Brazil? Good morning from Lockdown UK again. It's cold here too. So I suppose it's probably something to do with it being winter. I don't know. It could be that. So back to your comments in a moment. Let's take a look now at the legend that I was going to say that was, but that is, this man remains a legend, obviously, of Fado, of Portugal, and we'll find out more about him just in case you didn't know. We're looking at Yahoo News here. A little bit of a break from the Portugal resident. No offense to the Portugal resident. Absolutely love the Portugal resident. For news, especially Natasha Don, if I may just give her a special award, a Barcelo, for her excellent services to journalism, in my view, over the year, and her slightly different take, her special take on the pandemic and her reporting, which I think has been exemplary. So well done, Natasha. But we go to Yahoo News this morning for this information about Carlos Do Carmo, the Sinatra of Portugal's Fado, died at the age of 81, funeral yesterday. And who is that? A quick quiz for you. Do you know the Fado legend there, who he is hand in hand with over on the left of the screen? Looking very lovely, the pair of them. And they were pictured there at the show of the New Seven Wonders in Lisbon's Luz Stadium. So story here by Catarina Demoni. Lisbon news source here. Portuguese singer Carlos Do Carmo, one of the country's most beloved artists, who was known as the Sinatra of the soulful, melancholic Fado music, died on last Friday at the age of 81. Do Carmo, born in Lisbon in 1939, said goodbye to the stage last year after a long career, during which he took Fado around the world. He became the first Portuguese artist to receive a Latin Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014, and he died on the morning of New Year's Day. That's poignant, isn't it? At Lisbon's Santa Maria Hospital after suffering an aortic aneurysm. Portuguese media reported. Do Carmo was not only a notable Fado singer, one of his greatest contributions to Portuguese culture was the way he renewed fado and prepared it for the future. Prime Minister Antonio Costa wrote on Twitter, "He was the voice of Portugal," said President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa on TVI. Fado, which grew out of the streets and taverns of Lisbon in the 19th century. Oh, hold on. Is that a possible source of controversy there for you Coimbrians or Conimbrians? Fado, which grew out of the streets and taverns of Lisbon in the 19th century, expresses the Portuguese tendency to saudade, a word for which no direct translation exists, but implies a bitter, sweet sense of longing. And this is something that the expats will obviously feel as well. I think there can be an affinity with the Portuguese sense of saudade, which, although it may be hard to translate, I think is felt by some expats from time to time, a longing for the old place. Anyway, although traditional fado songs were the core of Do Carmo's singing career, he brought in influences from the musical styles of artists ranging from Brazilian bossa nova musicians to Frank Sinatra to give the musical form his own twist. At times singing with an orchestra instead of the traditional ensemble of just, remember you're an ensemble, of just a singer and two guitar players. He took fado to the world's biggest stages, from London's Royal Albert Hall to New York's Town Hall. He also supervised a film about fado, which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2007. So clearly an international legend here. Something for everybody all over the world. In 2009, Do Carmo was chosen by Lisbon's then mayor, alongside leading fado performer Marisa, of course, and that's who we see in the picture, Marisa, spelt in two different ways so far in this article, with an S and with a Z, but there she is. And we've played her on our show, the Portugal playlist, and we will add tunes by Do Carmo on there as well for the next time we make a musical outing. Don't know when that'll be, but we will come back to the Portugal playlist and extend our adventure into Portuguese music soon. But he was chosen by the Lisbon mayor in 2009 to play alongside Marisa to be the ambassador of the musical genres candidacy for World Heritage status, and it was later granted by UNESCO World Heritage status in 2011. Tributes poured in on social media upon news of his passing. The Portuguese Navy posted on Twitter on Friday that Lisbon, the city that inspired one of Carmo's most iconic songs, woke up feeling sadder today. It was what they said, that Lisbon did wake up feeling sadder at his passing. So thank you, Catarina Demoni, for that reporting on Yahoo News via Reuters or vice versa. And we say goodbye and thank you to Carlos Do Carmo. And let's go back to a few of your comments before we take a look at this wonderful property on the Silver Coast. Where are we now? Marcos Valbon might be telling us where he lives. Also cold in the UK where Fiona is. Yeah, Nisa, so you know, is also Alentejo, south of the river. All right, Anna, I get it now. Peniel Patella, Bondi, -4 degrees in lockdown Brixham. That's over there in Devon in the UK. South Africa, 27 degrees centigrade. All right, Dominique. all right. 27 degrees. Wow. In South Africa at the moment. Hola, bon dia. Thank you, Dominic, from Owen Lloyd Martin. Good morning to you, Owen. Thank you for the invitation to your group. I'll see you in there. It looks interesting. And Safiro, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Yeah, not reliable at all. They preach practices and good conduct, but they bend their own rules, how they see fit and profitable for them. Absolutely, Joel. It happens, doesn't it? Carl, the Love Gods, Munson. Wow. Oh, I see. That's a reference to all these women who want me to be their boyfriend, right, Gary? It wasn't a boast. I was just merely describing a predicament in which I find myself. An occupational hazard, you might say. It's so weird. You know, I post a video up on YouTube, and I see there's a comment, and I go to it thinking, "Oh, thanks for doing this. You know, it's really helpful to find out more about Portugal." And it's some. You know, there's loads of emojis and love hearts and, you know, Cupid and hearts and, you know, and then a suggestive profile pic. Will you be my boyfriend? You know, as a younger man, I'd have been flattered. Now I'm just disappointed. Like, go away. I'm trying to run a YouTube channel here. What happened to me? Do you have an ad day? I'm looking for a Piaggio MP3. Now, I don't know, Valerie. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, there's no problem. And also go on Expats Portugal and stick it on the forum there. But a Piaggio MP3, you got to tell me, is that a keyboard or a moped or something else? I don't even know what that is, Valerie. Carl Emelo in Serra de Marão have a typical restaurant with local food, and the price is nice. Oh, so he is. Marcos is in Ermelo in Serra de Marão. That's another thing to add to the list, folks. 2 t-shirts, heavy sweater, but a winter coat is needed when going out. So he's only got the 4-layer combo there in Matosinhos. Dominique, you can go off people really quickly. Blooming freezing here this morning. Yeah, 27 degrees. Go away, Dominique. With Marisa. With an S, just to put that. Oh no, Marisa with a Z. Okay, still no clearer, but I think it is with a Z from my memory, which is not a reliable source. Let's face it. Gerard Boss, the boss is here. Everyone, hello. I had the privilege of sitting at a dinner table when Carlos Do Carmo came in to sing. We didn't know him then, but it was unbelievable. I bet he had an amazing aura about him. I mean, people of that stature in show business, I think, do exude, do they not? Tell us more, Gerard. That sounds like a wonderful experience to be treasured. Which restaurant? I'm from, or which club? I'm from Porto, but I'm living in Gondomar. Oh, that's Marcos is telling us that. And they are, Marcos, the Portuguese people chat in the comments. I love it. I really love it to see that. I don't know what they're saying, but I do love to see it. Penny Albertina, not -4, +4. All right, rubbing it in from Devon. We don't get that cold here in South Devon. We do here in Portugal, but we don't tend to talk about it too much. Okay, was just listening to talk radio. Some guy in tears thinking of committing suicide. Oh dear, it was a bit of a negative, so I turned it off. Yeah. But then found out a nurse in Porto had died right after taking the vaccine, and they are investigating. Didn't bother finishing that article either, as that's negative too. Why can't we all just stay at home, eat chocolate, and be happy? It's a good question. I think that has troubled philosophers since the since the dawn of critical thought, I guess, and reflection. Philosophical reflection. Will, why can't we just stay at home, eat chocolate, and be happy? People can be baffling. Had lots of folks telling me yesterday they stopped listening to me because I was negative too. So now I understand why not. I think that says nobody before anyone gets excited. But yes, a long comment, but well made. Will, we love you here, mate. Here on the Good Morning Portugal community, we really do, and we are forever in your debt and admiration for you. So keep your chin up, mate. And yes, absolutely, there are spades full of negativity at the moment. It's all about balance, isn't it? I think it's important to be realistic and practical, but possibly not to get too cynical or negative. Perhaps I suggest Valerie's is a Renault Twizy. Now that. Oh, I see. That's the Piaggio. That's going back to the Piaggio, is it? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, she's looking for a Piaggio MP3. So that's a bit misleading. MP3 is a sound file to me, Valerie. But now Joel is suggesting you get a Renault Twizy instead. Okay. Bon dia, 47 in Atlanta. That's the Fahrenheit, of course, of Victoria. So I'm thinking Atlanta. That's what is that? That's still just above, isn't it? Only below 10 degrees centigrade, I would have thought. But good morning to you, Victoria. What on earth are you doing up? And what a momentous day we're looking forward to in the States tomorrow, right? When people are having a massive peace march. But you never know, do you? This peace march towards Washington, because back in the day when you only saw about it on 3 news channels and a newspaper or something like that. Now we've got 10,000 news sources, one photographing it from the front, one from the back, all spinning it a different way. What do you think is going to happen in Washington tomorrow, as somebody who's closer to the action there than anybody else here? So that's what I'd like to go with. My own senses, or people I know have become my most valuable news sources. Marisa, the one in the photo, is the famous fado singer, says Anna. There is another one, Marisa Lish, who is also a singer from Amor Electrico, Electric Love. Enough of that. Thank you very much. 8 degrees in America from Victoria. And it's the Georgia Senate race runoffs. I will be voting in person. Do you never stop voting in America? What's going on? I mean, the last little thing hasn't been resolved yet, and now you're voting again. What's that about? Okay, let us take a look now at some super property. We are looking now, thanks to Valerie at Spencer Beck's, a marvelous, beautiful property in Alcobaca. And obviously, you have to do this with the pictures, which I'm going to share on the screen for you now. I'm trying to share on the screen for you now, and it didn't seem very happy about that. Let's try again. And yes, that does it. That does it a lot better, doesn't it? And let me just now scroll through for you. So the price ticket, if we, yeah, I can't hide that from you any longer. 739,950 euros if you're looking for a second home. And you've got that, you got that lying around. This you might be tempted by this beauty here, spacious contemporary 3-bedroom high spec home, sea views, and I've got all the pictures here, which we'll work our way through and have a little slideshow here. Because I mean, even if you're not interested in buying it, it's always interesting to me, I think anyway, to have a little neb at, you know, the properties that are for sale. I'm sure that's the bane of Valerie's life, is people just looking. But the tire kickers, I suppose, of the property industry, people with no intention of buying, but just a nosy. But I mean, you know, it's understandable that you would want to look and see, certainly, what the quality of a home is like at 739,950, but in Portugal. But I was also asking earlier on, was I not, to let me know how much you think this property would be in your native land? Okay, because I'm thinking already in Devon, where Penny is this morning, a property like this with a sea view in Devon, you're talking 2 million. I would have thought. I don't know. Penny may perhaps tell us more there. So let's have a look at these lovely photographs. A very well kept and manicured garden and beautiful interiors. Look at this. Let's step our way through. Beautiful kitchen with a breakfast bar. Oh my word, this would make a stunning backdrop for the Good Morning Portugal show, would it not? Or indeed our retirement home that we were talking about yesterday. 3 bedrooms isn't enough, is it? So we'd have to have a little range of tiny houses in the garden possibly, and have this home as our mainstay of our community. But look at that, isn't that beautiful? Lovely view there, I think, while you're cooking, in one of those slimline windows. I really like those, and an extractor above the cooker there. I'm going to do my best. Valerie might give me a job after this. We'll see. Although she may have sworn never to give me a job. I don't know. We'll find out. But you get a sense of these beautiful views already. Lovely lounge there. That's going to be nice and cool in the summer, isn't it? Your dining room, and absolutely exuding top quality finishes and stylish, the best of stylish living in Portugal here on the Silver Coast. Utility room, as you might expect. How wonderful. Oh, and that's a study, isn't it? That's looking rather good as well. Study there. Could do the show from there, couldn't I, if I bought this property? And look, we are now outside in a kind of intermediate area, aren't we, with some shading as well from the blistering heat of the Silver Coast at the height of summer, and a little glimpse there of the sea views in the distance. Absolutely lovely. These are big, these are generous rooms, aren't they? Well appointed, I think, is the term that is used in the industry. And you're in the pool there. Look at that. You get in the pool and you can check out the distant views from the pool, it would seem. Very nicely done. And look, step out of that bedroom into the pool. Marvelous. Look at this, another beautiful bedroom and a walk-in shower there. That's really nice, isn't it? And one of those rather marvelous wall-hung toilets. That I like those. I've got myself into trouble making comments about those before, I think, didn't I, Valerie? Look at this. But there's that intermediate area again. I really like that. I don't know if that's a kind of courtyard with some nice glazing on it to save you from any kind of breezes that might be coming across the land there. But that looks very sheltered in all sorts of ways. And look, the barbecue area with a bit more shuttering there. Yeah, there's your intermediate outside area. That looks like a lovely place to be entertaining of an evening. Look, generous parking outside. Loving this place. Absolutely beautiful property, Valerie. A credit to spencerbex.com. And look at that. That's the sort of sunset you can appreciate from this part of the Alcobaca area. Look at that beautiful sunset. Absolutely wonderful. Another one for you there. Lovely garden, a slightly wilder part of the garden there. And there's the pool. Generous. You know, that's enough of a pool, isn't it? To just so you're not spending your whole life looking after your pool and worrying about it, but big enough to have a nice dip. And look at that, illuminated in the evening as well. Another wild sort of niche in the garden there. And look at that. There is your sea view across the garden. Going back to Will, you know, wondering about the nature of humanity. What is it with us human beings? What better place to sit and ponder such philosophical questions as that beautiful garden there looking out across the sea. The sea is so inspiring, isn't it? You know, it does get the thought processes going, a sea view like that, I think. And you can sit there and reflect upon your life and your future in that lovely garden. Absolutely beautiful, generous plot of land, that. And another view there. So there we go. I think we've gone full circle there. Let's turn the pics off, give you a bit more info on it. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 200 square meters inside the house there. Beautifully designed home, was built in 2012 to an exceptionally high standard, as you can see. Located on the edge of a lovely village near to Barrio on the Silver Coast. This home sits in a premier position overlooking the adjoining countryside and out to the Atlantic Ocean. The home has a large open-plan living area that is designed to take full advantage of the views and the beautiful surroundings. A very thoughtful design architecture there. A delightful terrace to the side of the main living area that makes a wonderful space for outside dining and entertainment. Yes, as I suspected, the 3 bedrooms are spacious and all have views to the sea. And that's the thing sometimes, isn't it, about a 3-bedroom house or a 5-bedroom house? Some of them are very tiny. Obviously, as you saw, they're 3 spacious bedrooms, 8x4 swimming pool. The property sits on a lot of just under 6,000 square meters, and 95% of the lot has exposure to the views. Very nice indeed. So there you go. Have a chat with Valerie there, who's with us this morning, looking for a Piaggio MP3, whatever that is. We'll find out. 1 hour to the airport, 15 minutes to the beach. These are the important questions. Energy rating, energy class A. I think that's a marvelous property, and that is in the Leiria district and the Silver Coast of Portugal. How super is that? Beautiful. I don't know what you're thinking and how much you would value that at in your country of origin. Let's get some of your feedback on this Tuesday, terça-feira, which is about consumer matters now on a Tuesday, and business and homes and property. If you've got a house to sell, maybe we could feature it for you on here. Can't wait for this craziness to be over in America there, says Victoria. I don't think it's going to be over for a while yet. Victoria, but really, you guys, y'all need to have a good word with yourselves, don't you? I mean, how are you going to get over this polarization of things that America's leading the way at, isn't it, really? You know, I think that's not a criticism of you or your fellow Americans, but it's the criticism of the culture, perhaps, of like, you know, everything's so emotional and polarized. But anyway, let's come back to property. 47 degrees Fahrenheit for sure. And it is, Atlanta is freezing as well at 8. Yeah. Cindy Green, those of us stuck in Chicago think these comments about cold weather are cute. It's all relative, Cindy. Us moaning in Portugal. Ivermectin chocolate. Will Thompson, what an idea, fortified with vitamin D. So there you go. First business suggestion of the day. And I do want to do that. If you are starting a business here in Portugal, let me know about it. We promoted the Aromatica Cafe, didn't we? Spoke to Owen Johnson, who opened that late last year. And she's doing a great business. And people, I think, who might benefit from a little bit of networking and a bit of support. Tell us about your business here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Let's look after each other. But that is a Dragon's Den special. Ivermectin chocolate fortified with vitamin D, as endorsed by the Will Thompson and made by Professor Austin there in his man cave basement. Victoria, but it might need to be a bit more official than that, Gary. Victoria Benson, nah, that won't happen anytime soon, says Joel, about everything getting sorted out in the States. Morning from Bollington, Cheshire. That's so posh. Anna Lucia, my granddaughter woke up this morning crying, wanting to go to school. Oh, we're all on a 6-week lockdown. What a mess. Yeah, I mean, you know, it comes to something when a child is crying to go to school, right? I used to cry because I had to go to school, not because I couldn't. So school must be a whole lot better now. Can't wait to get to Portugal. Absolutely, Victoria. That's Victoria's solution to American politics, is move to Portugal. And Anna Lucia, thank you for that comment. Lots of love to you and your whole family over there, and hoping there the madness doesn't last too much longer in the UK, in rather posh-sounding Bollington in Cheshire. Is that where the super rich and the Premier footballers live, possibly in Cheshire there? I'm talking to the president this week, says Will. Going to bake free cakes for everyone, Gary Austin. Cake or death? Cake, please. That was quite an offer. That's a bit dramatic, Will. Easy, fella. Lovely home, absolutely. Too modern, says Elsa, for our retirement homes. I don't know, Elsa. I'm quite liking it. Yeah, luxury housing is also a thing here. Absolutely. Not the cup of tea of Joel, really. It is my cup of tea. Definitely. I can see myself making a cup of tea in that kitchen. Piaggio MP3 is a 3-wheel motorcycle. Wow. You will cut a dash on that, Valerie. Zooming around the Silver Coast there. Probably 2 million in the South Hams. Yeah, that was my estimate, Penny. 735 or 736 pretty much, isn't it? Or not a massive amount of change out of €750,000, but £2 million, Penny, thinking in Devon there. I live just 7 kilometers from the beach and 15 minutes from Porto. So yeah, 7 kilometers to the beach. So that's a pretty quick. Portuguese driving, 2 minutes. 15 minutes from Porto, and you're near the airport, of course. I don't know if you're trying to sell a house to us there, Joel. Safiro. Oh, that's Marcus and Joel are talking to each other. Peter Wilton Davis here, everybody. The unofficial ambassador of Castanera de Pera. A special morning, Major, to you. Morning from a hot and sunny Castanera de Pera. 28 degrees centigrade here today. Well, almost. Nice in the sun. Out the front of the house. So yeah, I think your thermometer probe is in direct sunlight there, to be fair, is it not? Lovely photos on the Happy Homesteaders group. Thanks for those, Pete. We will go to the Happy Homesteaders group just to plug another business, a honey business, before we go today. Joel and Marcos definitely getting a room this morning. Thin walls and cake tin sea salt. Looks lovely now. I'm not sure what that means, Pete, but looking forward to speaking to you soon. Bon dia from a very happy couple who yesterday reserved a house in Auric, Alentejo. Well done, Anna. Congratulations. How marvelous. Good news there for Anna. Does that mean that your search, because you were searching, weren't you? You were one of those people that was on tour, I believe, of Portugal at the end of last year. It looks like you may have settled on Auric, and it's all about the Alentejo this morning, isn't it? So what better place to settle in the Alentejo? Very good. Nice choice. Tell us more. Anyone know if the rules have changed anywhere in Portugal this week? I watched the news last night with my limited Portuguese, and the COVID news looked bad. Well, actually, Kathleen, we have moved, I believe, from the lockdown that ended on the 4th of January into semi-lockdown. So we've gone from the worst to the next worst, is my interpretation. And I'll be completely honest with you. I know it's my job in a way here to keep you informed of this, but I now signpost people to Safe Communities Portugal, because they do it really well, far better than me. But they say, I'm having a quick look now, please be reminded that under decree, see, this is it, all these decrees and this, that, and the other, it's valid until just before midnight on January the 7th. So until tomorrow night, there are certain measures in place for the New Year period. So the New Year period stuff doesn't end until tomorrow at midnight. Although the worst of it ended at 5 o'clock yesterday morning. So there you go. It's confusing. It really is. And I don't know what to suggest to you. I mean, go onto your local Facebook group, perhaps, to ask about that. But my off the top of my head, which is most unlike me to speak off the top of my head, but if I'm going to, I would say we've gone from the most strict restrictions to the less strict. But you still have to be very careful. It's by no means free movement, as I understand it, as yet. Okay, so bon dia from Mark Rigby from Pavor de Vargin and Safiro. Yes, so we're still in confinement, which means in some cultures that you're pregnant, Joel. So may I be the first to congratulate you, although I suspect you're probably not pregnant. You are just restricted in your movements, as it were. So Anna, yes, we've been searching for a while. Alentejo has been our focus, and now we found what we wanted. Thanks. My pleasure. So glad to hear that. And maybe, yes, because I invited you, did I not, to join our Ask Our Expats team with all the intel that you've been picking up over the last few months. Which reminds me, tomorrow morning is Ask Anything About Portugal, and John Smith, we'll find out if that's his real name, will join us tomorrow. One of our great contributors on the expatsportugal.com forum will be here with us tomorrow, a representative from the south of Portugal asking questions. or answering questions and the questions that are being asked from the global community that watches Good Morning Portugal. If you can't make it in early in the morning, I know some American people do, like Victoria here, but if you can't make it, just send the question to me and I'll ask it on your behalf. One of them is, what is the weather like in Coimbra? Not a great time to be asking that, quite frankly. So congratulations, Anna. That sounds wonderful. Alan Tejo, I want to spend more time with the Alan Tejo myself. We're doomed, I say, with a Scottish accent. I think that's Gary's appraisal of the current restrictions. Come on, cheer up. And hi, guys, from Hank Stalica, who sounds like a hero. Basically, Hank Stalica, good morning to you. You sound like straight from an adventure movie. This American just made it. You did. We're about to finish, Hank, but really appreciate your attendance this morning. Must be very early in the morning for you, and probably a little bit chilly where you are as well. If you're in Chicago, like our other correspondent, who was that? Who was laughing at us, moaning about the weather? We're in Chicago. Yes, Cindy. It's going to be proper cold, muito frío. In Chicago right now. Where are you, Hank? Do let us know. And yeah, just want to finish very quickly then with word from, and let me put this on the screen because it's a beautiful picture of some honey products. And I will share this for you now. And it is, yeah, there you go. On the screen there. Let me just shut that window, open this one. Yeah, good evening, everyone. This is up on Facebook and I posted it in the Happy Homesteaders group. This holiday season and the whole of 2020 have been very tough for everyone, but especially for my dad. He's been an honest beekeeper and rural worker for more than 30 years, but this pandemic has put the deepest of dents that neither the Asian hornet, neither varroa, or even thieves and bushfires could do. I don't know what varroa is. Can you tell us, please, Portuguese folks? It's not about the business. It's about particularly in visiting his apiaries and in hosting visitors, students, and fellow beekeepers. So please, as 2020 is coming to an end, please don't forget to support and help rural and local communities any way you can or want to. She makes a very good point. Andre, he makes a very good point that it's not just about the money. It never is just about the money, is it? It's about a challenge to the culture here. And that people can't visit the wonderful Enrique Abreu's honey production facilities and his beehives. And this is a dent that we don't want to prolong or in any way to become permanent. So this is a really good sentiment. Please don't forget to support and help rural and local communities any way you can or want to. They are the most welcoming of people, says Andre. They are always available and are essential to preserve the best of nature, which still subsists in Portugal. Speaking of beekeeping, remember some of your best childhood memories and the taste and sense of precious things like natural honeycomb, royal jelly, propolis, bee pollen, beeswax, honey soaps, mead, yes! Mead, and of course honey, natural treasures which assure you a permanent and very helpful tiny private pharmacy in your home. So follow Enrique Abreu Apicultura. I will put that link in the comments myself in just a moment. And he's on Instagram as well. Son Andre is obviously helping dad Enrique out there with his honey business. We've got to support people like Enrique, in my view. But I've got to say, my childhood memory of bee products wasn't good. Auntie Matty, she was quite a character, but Auntie Matty gave me some honeycomb, and I thought I was going to be sick. To be honest with you, it was really something to have this wonderful. She was square shaped, was Auntie Matty, and she had bees in this beautiful Northamptonshire town where I used to go and stay as a kid. And I think I had a sore throat. And with her thumbs straight from the allotment, she pulled out a bit of honeycomb, rolled it into a ball and pushed it in my mouth. And it was one of those childhood moments, like sprouts or cabbage, or like Gary, your first cigar when you were 6, whatever it was. I thought it was serious. It was quite a situation to be in. I have recovered, and I do love honey products, and I do want to support people like Enrique Abreu, whose link on Facebook I'm putting in the comments now so that you can follow him as well. Let's see what we can do for him and other people in rural Portugal. Oh my goodness, nearly getting to 10 to 10. It's a wave from Hank and a good morning, sir. And it's 2:30 in the morning for Hank. Sorry, keep the noise down. Pregnant? What the hell, Carl? I know I'm a bit fat, but not to the point of bearing a child. That's not even possible for a man, at least yet. They're working on it, Joel. 1:45, so he hasn't gone to bed yet, rather than getting up early. Over there in California, good morning from the beach house. Oh, very nice. It's not a bon dia, my dear. It's a good morning from the beach house. And Hank is nomming the honey. That house near Barrio is very pricey for this area, only 200 square meters. Well, I think it's a beautiful house. And I guess, well, that's the thing. We will feature other properties of different tastes and different budgets. But I just wanted to show you something very special this morning. But clearly we've got a little bit of a backlash there, a barrio backlash. Marcos and Joel are still talking. Gary Austin, Hank, you got to be on the Man Cave on Friday. Yes, please join us, Hank. We just based on your name, we want you. Varroa is a mite that attacks bees and kills them. Thank you, Gareth Payne. How are you this morning, Gareth? Great to hear from you. I think it's a type of virus killing off whole beehives. Wow. The challenges of life as a beekeeper. Unbelievable, right? And there's the link anyway, so that we can give a bit of a shout out to Enrique Abreu. And I think more chat between Joel and Marcos going on there. Thank you all this morning. You do need to tune in to the Man Cave. It'll be great to have your company there on Friday evening from 10 o'clock. We're going to have a disco as well. Marcos Bonbon is saying, I have a summer house in Portuguese, Algarve. Come on, send the keys over. That sounds lovely right now, Marcos. PM me. How much for a weekend in the Algarve? All right, folks. Thank you so much. Half an hour this show is meant to be. It never has been. And then I'm thinking 45. Okay, 45 minutes. And now we are 10 to 10. Let's finish, shall we, with just a reminder of the schedule that I played for you yesterday. We'll do that again now. And I will see you again tomorrow morning for the Ask Anything About Portugal session. Okay, so if you Americans who can't join us, send the question in and I'll ask it on your behalf. And John will be with me tomorrow, and perhaps some of the other Ask Our Expats team from expatsportugal.com. Have a great day. Bom dia. Ciao, ciao. Até logo. Beijinhos. Abraço.